CTV News, Canada's most watched newscast.
Hi, I'm Larry Walker of the Expos. We meet Colorado on Wednesday. Watch us on CTV.
Mark Cooper here. Follow me as we move to Thursday night here on ATV.
Now, from the #1 news team in Atlantic Canada, this is the ATV Late News.
It's the last day of August 1993. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jonathan Gravenor. Coming up in this report, we're going to profile Stephen King's new film, Needful Things. Also tonight, he canceled a concert, but his family is now backing him. All the latest from Michael Jackson's world. First, though, here's what's happening in our region tonight. Topping the news, a 57-year-old New Brunswick man has been charged with first-degree murder following a shooting in Upper Gagetown this weekend. Junior Ransford Boone of Pleasantville made a brief court appearance in nearby Burton this morning. Police say the victim, 52-year-old Beverly London, was shot to death Friday night at his Upper Gagetown home. Boone is being held in custody until his next court appearance on September the 27th. And a Cape Breton man serving life in prison for his role in last year's McDonald's murders is appealing his sentence. 19-year-old Darren Muse won't be eligible for parole for 20 years. In his appeal, Muse is asking that be reduced. Meantime, the Crown Attorney's Office has filed a cross-appeal that says Muse's sentence was too light and the parole date should be extended. Muse pleaded guilty to second-degree murder of one of 3 McDonald's employees who were killed in that brutal May 1992 shooting. Former Heartland, New Brunswick Dr. Floyd McDonald has decided that he'll be tried by judge alone and not by judge and jury. His trial on a charge of buggery opened this morning in Woodstock before Justice Margaret Larley. Now, much of the first day was spent on considering the admissibility of certain evidence. The first witness was Anna Stafford of the Provincial Medicare Audit Department, who produced records of the complainant's visit to McDonald from October 1976 to December of 1992. The second witness was the complainant, who testified that she was a patient of McDonald's. Now, she told the court that during 2 different visits to the doctor's office, McDonald performed anal intercourse. The cross-examination of testimony will begin on Tuesday. McDonald, by the way, was convicted in June on 7 of 9 assault charges and was sentenced to 3.5 years in prison. To Hants County, Nova Scotia now, where 2 Hants County, Nova Scotia men, that is, have been charged following last month's seizure of more than $1 million worth of marijuana plants. Ray Robert Craig and Robert Fulford face charges of cultivating marijuana and possession for the purpose of trafficking. The 2 will be back in court November 10th for a preliminary hearing. Now, the Mounties seized more than 4,000 plants late last month near Trafalgar, Nova Scotia. Police say it's one of their largest harvesting busts ever in the province. Also tonight, the search continues for up to 700 kilograms of cocaine that was recently dumped off the Nova Scotia coastline. HMCS Cormorant, the Navy diving ship, which earlier this month recovered drug evidence for the RCMP off Newfoundland, has been searching the waters off Spry Bay on Nova Scotia's eastern shore. Now, police believe the cache was dropped overboard from a ship that developed engine trouble and was forced into port. A 3-month-long investigation into the smuggling operation resulted in the seizure last week of boats, vehicles, guns, and cash, and the arrests of 18 people. Well, if Canada's top law enforcement officers get their way, early parole and day passes for violent offenders and drug traffickers is going to be abolished. That's just one resolution expected to be passed this week at the annual meeting of Canadian Association of Police Chiefs in our region. More tonight from ATV's Janice Landry.
More than 400 delegates from across Canada have gathered in Halifax for the Chiefs of Police Conference. Today, much talk surrounded the issue of parole.
We think that it's time to take a position for Chief of Police. So we think that in case of violent criminals, drug traffickers, that they shouldn't be allowed to a conditional liberation. That's our point.
Bottom line, not at all.
Not at all.
So you're expecting it to be passed?
Yes. The first feeling I have is most of our members that I met yet are very favorable to these resolutions.
And Saint-Germain has reason to have high expectations. Most chiefs I spoke to today say they'll support the parole resolution.
The message is that we're concerned about public safety in this country, and we are really concerned that there is a system that's allowing more or less an opportunity for them to take advantage. And they know the system. They know it very well.
Well, I think I share the opinion of the, of the board of directors and Mr. St. Germain on that. It's a general consensus of the CACP, and I certainly support about that.
Parole is just one of many policing issues that will be discussed this week and over which resolutions will be tabled.
But one of the problems we're having is with the Young Offenders Act, and that is being discussed in depth, and there will be resolutions on that.
Another resolution, and by the way, I think will probably deal with a victim's Bill of Rights or Victims Act, which recognizes that more interest and concern about victims should be shown by governments and everyone.
And with Prime Minister Kim Campbell expected to call a federal election any day now, the police chiefs are hoping that any resolutions they pass this week in Halifax will have more impact. The police chiefs say they need support from both provincial and federal governments to make their resolutions a reality. They say, like with the drug issue, Canada needs a national strategy on violence. In Halifax, Janice Landry, ATV News.
To other news now, a 33-year-old Prince Edward Island farmer was killed this morning after an auger attached to his tractor came in contact with an electrical power line. Kent Maynard of Arlington near O'Leary was pronounced dead on arrival at hospital shortly after 9 this morning. Police are still investigating. Well, Dalhousie University oceanographers have an explanation for last week's huge fish kill in Bedford Basin. A 3-member team consisting of Dr. John Cullen and Dr. Marlon Lewis, along with a graduate student, say there were massive blooms of phytoplankton, a single-celled maritime algae. It's a red tide organism and was concentrated near the surface. Although it's not normally toxic, the scientists believe the bloom of algae was so massive it removed oxygen from the water. They say red tides are common in areas where there is a lot of sewage. Department of Fisheries expects results of its lab test later this week. Well, some tense moments today near the Lennox Island Reserve in Prince Edward Island. A native fisherman was arrested after threatening fisheries officers with a rifle. Nice story tonight from ATV's Dan Veal.
Today's seizure follows complaints from other lobster fishermen that natives were illegally fishing and selling lobster in violation of an agreement based on treaty rights that allows native food fishing only. Nervous fisheries officials, some carrying sidearms, wouldn't discuss what happened on the water today. But one native fisherman was arrested by RCMP after apparently brandishing a rifle and threatening the fisheries officers as they attempted to pull up untagged traps. Two native fishermen here who didn't want to appear on camera told me everyone had agreed to fish 25 traps each, but Department of Fisheries only issued 10 tags per household, and that's what led to today's confrontation. Our cameras were refused access to a meeting between the fishermen and the band council chief here tonight, but native fisherman Joe Peters says most of his friends only want one thing, a day in court.
What we want to do is implement the 1752 treaty and exercise 1752 treaty, and what we want to do is, if they think it's illegal for them to charge us, and we'll take it to court and solve it by the court date, so solve it legally instead of having confrontation, like, it's going to keep on getting worse. What we want to do is stay away from the violence and stay away from anything that's... We don't want to use violence as a means to an end. We want to solve it without confrontation. We want to solve it through the legal system. We want to get charged, take it to court.
Peters says the native fishermen are willing to abide by reasonable limits. They don't want to overfish their own stock. But if seizures continue, someone may get hurt.
We try to make a concession from 100 to 25, and they seem to, we were trying to make that concession, but we're trying to say we'll go with 25. We know we can handle living with 25. Mm-hmm. But they don't seem to see it that way, so we have to try to get it to court as soon as possible.
In Lennox Island, Dan Veal, ATV News.
Well, the federal cabinet should have a decision within a week on CP Rail's decision to abandon its line from Sherbrooke to St. John. Employment Minister Bernard Valcourt says the federal transportation minister is concerned about the closure. He says the decision will be made shortly. But provincial transportation minister Sheldon Lee doubts Ottawa is going to block the closure. He says he's talked to the federal minister about CP's plans and doesn't think the federal cabinet will intervene. Lee says the province will spend its time looking for a new operator. To the world of politics now, the federal election race is starting to shape up in the riding of St. John. Local New Democrats have chosen a candidate now. School teacher Shirley Brown was unopposed tonight at the party's nomination convention. Brown has won a number of prestigious awards in her work as an educator. She will face Liberal candidate Pat Landers and City Mayor Elsie Wayne, who's running for the Tories. It's the first try at the federal political scene for all three women. Businessman Joe Boyce, by the way, is going to run as an independent. And talking about nominations, the Tories have their man in Halifax West tonight. Former provincial cabinet minister Joel Matheson won that nomination tonight on a second ballot. Well, let's go to our entertainment file now. 7 comedy legends were inducted into the newly created Comedy Hall of Fame last night. And 97-year-old George Burns, accompanied by his date, Sharon Stone, was the first to be honored. In addition to Burns, the Hall of Fame inducted Walter Matthau, Kel Burnett, Milton Berle, Richard Pryor, Red Skelton, and Jonathan Winters. Winters, a comedian, says he can't imagine living without laughter. The Hall of Fame Awards, by the way, will be telecast on network TV sometime this November.
Thank you very much.
The Dartmouth Waterfront was one of several locations across Nova Scotia today to stage events to hallmark Child Care Awareness Days. They staged a parade of children, parents, and child care workers at Compass Square next to Alderney Gate in Dartmouth today, and that was followed by a carnival-style picnic supper. The object behind events like this is to draw attention to the work that is child care workers do across Nova Scotia. Licensed child care centers are hit hard by the economy, but they are necessary for working parents, and getting good child care is often very difficult. Well, still with our entertainment file, Needful Things is the latest Stephen King book turned into a movie, and so far, even the master of macabre is pleased with the treatment given by the new director, Fraser Heston. Now, if the director's name seems familiar, then you're right. That's because Fraser Heston is the son of world-renowned actor Charlton Heston. And the director made efforts to get the best cast possible. Now, he recruited Max von Sydow to play the evil lead role, and the casting couldn't have been more perfect. Tonight, Cynthia Tornquist talks with the director and the cast of Needful Things.
Can we just go by all these people in here working on the fishing gear?
Fraser Heston is directing his first feature film with Needful Things, but this is not his first set visit.
Ben-Hur.
You went on Ben-Hur?
Sure, yeah, 1959. So I was 4. And I remember the chariot race. I remember the galleys. I thought my dad was either a professional galley rower or a charioteer. I wasn't sure which. He'd come home every day in his harness.
Dad is Charlton Heston, who Fraser says gave him an education in filmmaking. When asked to direct Needful Things, Fraser flew to Sweden to convince Max von Sydow to star in the film. Once again, his past experiences paid off.
I met him years ago on the set of Greatest Story Ever Told when my father was baptizing him as Jesus Christ. Dad played John the Baptist. And I was about 10 years old or something. And he did remember me. Amazingly, he said, I remember you had a broken arm and the prop guy put an arrow in it that stuck out like that.
May I take this opportunity to welcome you to Castle Rock on the good Lord's behalf?
Why not?
Von Sydow plays a shop owner in Castle Rock, Maine, a man who sells everything to those willing to make a deal with the devil.
I don't specialize in villains, but sometimes villains tend to be very much cliché. This is not a cliché villain, I think. It's a fun villain. It's a villain with surprises and a villain with a sense of humor.
You are disgusting. I like that in a person.
If Mr. Gaunt is not the devil himself, he is somebody very close to the devil, so you cannot really defeat him.
One of the most challenging scenes for both the actor and the director involved blowing up a church in the fictional Castle Rock, a town just outside Vancouver, Canada.
Yeah, we pretty much blew the daylights out of it, yeah. The whole town turned out and stood in the rain for 4 hours while we rigged the explosions and waited for us to blow it up.
Horror author Stephen King has given 2 thumbs up on the film version of his bestseller. He did not work directly on the film, but sent Heston flowers on the first day of shooting with a note that said, "Don't beat up on the devil too badly." Sherry Sylvester, CNN Entertainment News, Hollywood.
Looks like a Stephen King flick. We'll be right back with your sports after this short break.
This MotoMaster tire, this battery, this motor oil. These MotoMaster products are all made by well-known manufacturers. But they'd prefer we not mention their names, because they sell similar products themselves under national brand names and charge more. But buy them as MotoMaster at Canadian Tire, and you get the best of both worlds, national brand quality that costs a lot less. MotoMaster, quality automotive products for a lot less.
Timote Oligo with minerals cares for your hair the way nature intended.
I used pressure-treated lumber and still have expensive water damage. Why?
Even treated wood needs Thompson's Water Seal. It penetrates to protect wood, brick, and concrete from water damage. Thompson's, the first name in lasting protection.
All right, there he is. Yo, Tim! Looks fine. That's a nice jacket. What did he come back here for? Ease up, man. It's your best friend. Oh, man, but he's not gonna stay. He's gonna stay. Hey, Timmy! Tim? So what brings you back here? I missed you guys.
Alpine. Brewed right, and brewed right here at home. Alpine Lager Beer. This one's yours.
It's a preview fall from Betty Rubin. Everything for every woman. Shop only where the most and the best can be found. You're the most important person. We've got it all for fall. In the Maritimes, it's only Betty Rubin Champlain Place in Moncton.
It's a Betty Rubin fur liner coat, and it's on sale at only $3.99. Detachable lining and collar. Unbelievable. Fur liner coats on sale at only $3.99. Completely fur-lined jacket, only $2.49. Only at Betty Rubin Champlain Place in Moncton.
Well, once again, the Blue Jays and the Yankees are tied atop the AL East as action began today. New York is idle tonight, though, but Toronto is playing a late game in Oakland. It's in the fifth inning, and the score is 3-0 for Toronto. We're going to open up our highlight package, though, in the other great race, the National League West. The Giants, 4 up in Atlanta, play the Marlins tonight. And the Giants will open the scoring in this one when Mr. MVP, Barry Bonds, rips the base hit to right field. That's his 100th RBI of the year. San Fran has a 1-zip lead. Late acquisition, Scott Sanderson heats it up for the Giants as he gets Jeff Conine on the strikes. The throw to 2 for the DP. In the fourth, the Giants will make it 2-0 when Todd Benzinger rips the solo blast. This one ends 5-1 for the Giants. San Fran now has a 4.5-game lead. Atlanta is idle tonight. To Boston, Rangers in town, and Rafael Palmeiro rips the line, shot to center. Billy Hatcher of the Bo Sox runs, gets it, and tracks it down for the out. Later, Hatcher will hit the weak chopper. Doug Strange barehands it for the throw and the out. This one is over. Boston scores a 7-1 victory at home tonight. Let's go to the AL West now. The first-place White Sox host the Twins. Twins will open up the scoring in the first when big first baseman Kent Hrbek drives it to the corner, gets bobbled, knocked around. Chuck Knobloch gets on his horse, turns the base pass, and scores to make it 1-0. In the second, the Sox come right back. Men on for the Rock. Tim Raines drives it off Hrbek, who fumbles it. A run would score to tie it. Then later in the same inning, watch this, because Joey Cora will drop onto right, but that rookie sensation, Dave McCarthy, will drop the ball. White Sox win this one 4-1. Still with baseball, the Kansas City Royals have inked their second baseman, Jose Lean, to a 2-year extension today on his contract worth just over $5 million. Not bad work if you can get it. Lane, by the way, won a Gold Glove with Pittsburgh last year and is currently the top fielding second baseman in the American League with a .992 percentage and only 4 errors. Also in baseball today, the top draft pick, Alex Rodriguez, agreed to a major league contract that is said to be the most lucrative ever offered an amateur selection. The 18-year-old shortstop was scheduled to start classes at the University of Miami. Had he attended classes, the Seattle Mariners would have lost the rights to use him unless he dropped out before next June's draft. No terms of the deal were released, but the contract is for 5 years with the first 3 guaranteed. Well, NFL teams had to cut their rosters today. Some big names gone, like this guy. Miami's Reggie Roby has been cut. He had been the Dolphins punter for the past 10 years. By the way, bad news, because he had just declared personal bankruptcy. Also cut the Giants ex-linebacker Pepper Johnson, a great one. Their leading tackler for the last 5 years. He will not be out of work long. Cowboys did a little shaving today. First, Billy Bates, the safety, was let go, but he's expected to re-sign with the Cowboys tomorrow. Also, quarterback Hugh Millen has been released. His locker is still full, though, and a lot of reports are that he will also be re-signed tomorrow, too. Amongst the cuts, there is a trade. The Vikings acquired this guy. Running back Barry Word is coming over from Kansas City for a first-round draft choice next year. Word is a good one. This could be the last time you're going to see this guy, Mark Duper. For the 3rd time this year, he has been cut, this time by the Philadelphia Eagles. Now for a couple of shockers in Green Bay, they have let Ken O'Brien go, the one-time starter for the Jets. Was expected to be in a Green Bay Packer uniform this year. And the Raiders away former first-round selection Todd Marinovich. He started half the games last year for the Raiders. Kind of a shock that he's gone. Some guys were finding work, though, like this guy, Mike Tomczak, let go last year. He will start the NFL season as #1 signal caller for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And late word tonight out of Hollywood that the Rocket has landed. He came to terms with the Raiders, and now Rocket Ismail is going to report to the Los Angeles Raider camp. Well, despite protests from the coaching staff, defensive end Dexter Manley has returned to the Ottawa Rough Riders of the CFL. The former Washington Redskins star, sporting a new bald look, took a physical in practice today with the club. He started the season in Ottawa last year, but was cut after just 3 games. Quick word from golf. Seve Ballesteros of Spain is a wild-card addition to Europe's Ryder Cup team. The 36-year-old Spaniard is having his toughest season since turning pro, but will be making a 7th straight Ryder Cup appearance. European team captain Bernard Gallagher also named Spain's Jose Maria Olazabal and Sweden's Joachim Hagem to the squad. The European team meets the U.S. next month in England. And that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
It takes dozens of moving parts for brakes to work effectively. At Midas, we'll inspect every one of them, from brake pedal to brake pad, and everything in between. For the free 49-point brake inspection, trust your brakes to Midas.
I'm so nervous. At least I don't have to worry about my skin.
Introducing Clearasil Medicated Deep Cleanser. It's new. It's different than cosmetic cleansers.
He's so cute.
New Clearasil Cleanser removes oil and dirt like cosmetic cleansers, but what's different is it's medicated to treat and help prevent acne pimples.
I want to tell you that, you were great.
New Clearasil Medicated Cleanser, the cleanser that fights acne pimples.
It was only a 2-day seminar, but when I got home, the kitchen looked like I'd been gone a week.
Good news, boys. No need for all those cleaners with this guy around. Just try the pine and cream on this messy grease. See? Pine leaves dirt. Cream leaves film and dirt. But with Mr. Clean, the clean comes shining through. Mr. Clean. Now, do I dare look at the bathrooms?
With Mr. Clean, the clean comes shining through.
I want you to try Quaker's Summer Fruit Oatmeal. It's hot oatmeal with real strawberries, raspberries, and blueberries, spreading their flavor right through it. Gives you the best part of summer, even in winter. So it's the right thing to do.
Serving Eastern Canada since 1977 for all your computer needs.
Experience the world of ICS.
Well, surprise, surprise, Michael Jackson canceled a concert in Singapore today, and members of the entertainer's family actually defended him against a child abuse charge in the U.S. Jim Murray has a report on today's developments.
Michael Jackson's family attracted journalists and more than 30 camera crews from all over the world Monday for a news conference planned 2 months ago to announce an upcoming Family Network TV special. Jermaine Jackson took to the podium to first issue a statement about brother Michael.
Further, we wish to state our collective, unequivocal belief that Michael has been made a victim in cruel, obvious attempt to take advantage of his fame and success.
Michael Jackson has been the focus of worldwide attention since the Los Angeles police launched an investigation into allegations he sexually molested a 13-year-old boy. Michael has maintained his innocence and his family has stood behind him. On Monday, Michael Jackson canceled a concert in Singapore after he reportedly fainted. Jackson's doctor says the singer was suffering from an acute headache, dizziness, and vomiting. More than 40,000 disappointed fans at the National Stadium in Singapore shouted in disbelief at the announcement the star would not take the stage. Marks the 3rd time the entertainer has canceled a performance in the past week.
A lot of people who go out of their way, to come and see this great entertainer. I don't think he'll be a very great entertainer if he's going to start failing a lot of people. I think it's going to be a big shame for him, I'll say.
Jackson was joined in Singapore on Sunday by longtime friend Elizabeth Taylor. Taylor was in the audience as the singer celebrated his 35th birthday at a sold-out concert. The actress told Newsweek, quote, I totally believe 100% in Michael's integrity. He'd rather cut his own wrist than harm a child. He worships children. Michael Jackson's private investigator, Anthony Pellicano, told the Los Angeles Times the father of the 13-year-old boy making the allegations of sexual abuse demanded $20 million from Jackson through an attorney to buy his son's silence. Pellicano says the money was to be paid in 4 yearly installments of $5 million to advance the father's screenwriting career. The father, a Beverly Hills dentist, is listed as co-writer of the current Mel Brooks comedy Robin Hood Men in Tights. Meanwhile, police are saying nothing about the investigation. Jackson's family refused to take questions from reporters about the allegations surrounding Michael, but the singer's mother expressed her support for her son.
I know that I'm behind my son. I don't believe any of this stuff that's being written about him, because I raised him and I know him, and that's just a statement people are making.
The entire Jackson family plans to join Michael very soon as he continues his dangerous world tour. Jim Moray, CNN, Los Angeles.
Well, from one storm to another, although the week got off to a sunny start, there is a chance that it could end on a very wet note. Forecasters are watching very closely Hurricane Emily, and there is a chance that by the end of the week we could see a fair amount of rain from this storm as it moves up the Atlantic seaboard and passes by to our south by the end of the week. However, hurricanes are very unpredictable, especially in the long range, so we will have to wait and see. In the meantime, though, another disturbance moving from Ontario is going to spread some cloud into the region tomorrow with some showers developing in most areas by late afternoon or evening. This feature will make for a showery Wednesday and Thursday, and then possibly there is that outside chance that we could get rain from the hurricane by Friday. But short-term, your forecasts are overnight it will be mainly clear, but in northern New Brunswick it will become cloudy towards dawn. Temperatures will fall to the range of 8 to 11. Tuesday in northern New Brunswick will be cloudy with a few showers, while elsewhere it will slowly become cloudy during the day, and the rest of New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island can expect a shower by late afternoon or evening, and Cape Breton by evening. Afternoon temperatures tomorrow will be slightly warmer than the seasonable norm in the range of 20 to 25. And your outlook, Wednesday will be cloudy with sunny breaks and a chance of showers, while Thursday will be mostly sunny in much of New Brunswick. Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island will be cloudy with showers or periods of rain. Friday will be cloudy and maybe windy with periods of rain. And finally tonight we leave you with this, a stunning example that you're really never too old for anything. A 90-year-old Alabama man is flying high after his first bungee jump. Porter Harvey decided to make the plunge while attending a family reunion in Tennessee. 35 relatives from 6 states gathered to cheer on his airborne adventure. Harvey says the 57-meter jump was the second biggest thrill of his life. He said the biggest was when his wife Alice said yes when she was asked to marry him. And that is our report for tonight. Thanks for joining us. For everyone here at ATV News, have a good night.